This is the Indian ghee or melted butter with vegetables and spices. It looks kind of yellow, golden. It's basically one of the healthiest fats that are available. These things are spices and vegetables. This is just the fat from the butter, from the vegetables and from plants. It's very healthy, comparable to the coconut. It melts in the temperature of the body, so it's a very healthy type of fat. Very good for hormone production, very good for the balance, for the chemical balance of the brain. It's tasty too. Smells like vegetables and spices, and it's easy to eat like butter, but it's a version that is a lot healthier than the butter. That's about 1 liter of this. Now let's see how to cook it. These are the ingredients for today's version of the Indian ghee. The base ingredient: butter, 2 bricks of butter, 2 or 3. This is the base ingredient. This is the animal fat, 80. This is the high fat version of the butter for the higher efficiency and for the higher effectivity of the recipe. This has 80% of fat, and the white stuff is the protein and the lactose, which is the sugar in the milk. So 80% fat and 20% sugar and protein. This is the butter has the fat, and all the other fat can be diluted into the butter and mixed into it. For today's version, I'm going to use the vegetable oil to stretch the ghee a little bit, and because this is a non-vegetarian version of the Indian ghee, I'm gonna use pork fat. The modern pork fat has a lot of growth hormones and lots of steroids for the faster growth of the pigs. So this is fat with hormones and steroids. It's not on the label, but we can assume that the factory farming is putting lots of steroids into the animals. So to have some steroids in the Indian ghee, I'm gonna add pork fat. Then black olives for the flavor, and olives have some oil in them. Not too dark. They're so black you can't even see them. Okay, olives have some oil in them, so the oil will dilute in the fat from the butter, make it more bioavailable, absorbable. This is the black. No, this is green paprika. This version of the paprika has oil in the skin, so this oil is very good for the health, and it only dilutes in other forms of oil, and it makes it more bioavailable and bioabsorbable, so it's better digestible if it's melted into the other forms of fat or oil. Carrot has some oil in it, so this oil will also absorb into the fat of the butter, and also for the flavor, for the color. This is the curry mix with curcuma and other spices. It has oil in it also, which will dilute into the fat of the ghee, make it more tasty and more healthy. The Indian curry is 4 times more effective and bioavailable with pepper. These are 4 different versions of pepper, which in a grinder. Pepper has pepper oil in it, which will dilute in the fat from the butter. The tomato for the flavor, this is a tomato, black tomato, which is slightly red. When it's better and more tasty, this is just for the flavor. Then ginger has a very tasty oil, very concentrated, very good for health, and it combines well with pepper and paprika. You can use another form of paprika or any pepper, chili, whatever has this oily skin, which has the oil in the vegetable. Because this oily skin, it's not very well absorbable by the body, but when it is cooked with oil, lard or butter, then it's more bioabsorbable by the body. So the main idea is to dilute all of these oils into the butter, into the fat of the butter. This is celery. Celery has also an oil which is more bioabsorbable and more digestible when it's diluted in the other forms of oil, like vegetable oil. This is also for the taste, for the oil and the taste. So the main idea is to put the taste into the fat of the butter. The fat of the butter is already tasty by itself, but this is gonna be like a vegetable version with a vegetable taste of all of these ingredients. It's possible to add other ingredients that have organic oils and vegetable oils in them. Whatever you know, whatever you have available, you can put into the recipe and try for yourself. So the only specialty in here is the pork fat with hormones and steroids. Apart from that, it's pretty vegetarian. Not vegan because of the butter, but it's pretty vegetarian. So in case you're vegetarian, this is your recipe also. Now let's cut it and see how it is. Those are the ingredients after the cutting, after the slicing. Small slices for better dilution of the oils in the vegetables into the butter. The smaller they are, the better the dilute and the better the oils of the vegetables and the flavor of the vegetables mixes into the butter, into the ghee. So now it's ready to be cooked, to be mixed. It's ready for the magic. Let's see. Now it's fairly simple. The first step is to melt the butter. The curry is already on top of the butter, and there is garlic. Garlic is another essential ingredient because garlic has garlic oil in it, which is good for health and good for taste. Let's see how fast it can melt. So we can already see the yellow ghee, the yellow fat from the butter, and the white foam on top. The white is the protein, and the lactose. There will be easier to separate. Just with a spoon it's going to be possible to separate the. Now let's mix it in. Once the butter is melted, it's better to reduce the heat, reduce it a lot, because there is no point of adding more heat. And the lesser heat there is, the healthier it is. Now let's add the vegetable oil for the extra blend. Maybe like this, not much. It blends very well with the fat from the butter. It's the butter, and the fat from the butter is like a natural ingredient for diluting all of the oils, fats, oils from the vegetables. It's a very good medium for cooking. Okay, it's melted. Now I'll reduce the temperature. Maybe like that. Yeah. Okay. Now let's add the ingredients. Now the ingredients are in the cooking pot. Not all did fit because it's a small cooking pot. The good thing about this, these are all edible ingredients without any waste, can be eaten. The basic plan is to cook them to absorb the oils from the vegetables into the fat of the butter, to remove the protein and the lactose. So what swims on top is the protein from the butter. It can be removed already now, or later on it will fall down. It will fall out and fall down into the butter. It's possible to remove it afterwards or during the cooking. The clear liquid is the fat, the one that it will become the frozen ghee, the tasty one. This is just protein. Some people throw it out. If you are lactose intolerant, you can throw it out. It's okay, it's okay to eat once a week or once every 2 weeks. Now the butter is slowly boiling at a low temperature. The proteins and the lactose is breaking down. During this process, it will later fall out and be separated. Just for 10 minutes at a very low heat with some bubbles. It's a very simple process, not like cooking. It's just for dissolving the oils and the fat into the butter, and later on separating it from the protein. The protein will stick to the vegetables, so it will be much easier. And this white foam is only on top during the cooking when it's hot. When it's cooling off, it just falls down and it's very easy to separate. Now let's wait for 10 minutes. The vegetables and the ghee did cook for 10 minutes. It had been cooling off for 10 minutes. Now the protein fell out to the bottom and it mixed with the vegetables. The oils from the vegetables mix in. Now the fat and the oil is on top and everything heavier is on the bottom. Now it's easier to separate. It's possible to move the fat and the oil into a container, or also possible to just move the vegetables and the protein away at first and then put it in the container. The easiest step is just to move the oil into a container, into a glass. Yes, now it's very visible that the white thing in the butter is the protein and the lactose. About 8% of the butter is lactose, and about other 8 is protein. And there's some water. The water did evaporate, and now just clear fat from the butter. The one thing that we want and that we need, that's more healthy than the butter itself. Now let's separate this. This is after the cooking and after the separation of the vegetables and the ingredients from the fat of the butter. The final liquid, the final fat, has a golden color. This is the vegetable and the vegetable oil version of the ghee. If you just melt the butter and just remove the fat, then it's going to be more golden. This is slightly greenish because of the vegetable oil and the spices, the vegetables that have been cooked inside. So it has more flavor and more of the different color, more of the greenish color. When it solidifies, when it becomes hard and solid, then it's gonna change color, it's gonna be more golden. It is possible to wait until it becomes solid for a day or half a day, for a night at room temperature, or to be faster, it is possible to just put it into the freezer and wait until it freezes. It's a lot faster. Let's do this. It's possible to eat the vegetables. Some people throw them out because they are lactose intolerant, and they say that these proteins from the butter are very bad for health, that they attach to the fats and create trouble and high levels of fat in the blood. And what's the thing, the one fat that the people don't want to be in their arteries is that sticks to them. So this thing that sticks to the fat and the arteries is the white protein from the butter. If you want to remove it, don't eat it, then don't eat it, you can throw it out. If you want to eat it, you can eat it, it's also good. Have been tried and tested for 5,000 years in India. Now let's freeze this. Now this is the finished product, the finished recipe. After 1 hour of freezing, it's still soft because there was vegetable oil and some water from the vegetables. Later on it will freeze and be very, very solid. Just now it's very easy to spread on whole grain bread, which is also healthy. Later on it will become more yellow and more golden when it solidifies more. Smells well, tastes well, a bit like garlic and like spices. It's a very healthy form of butter. I hope you enjoy this. You make your own version of this Indian ghee melted butter. Stay healthy and enjoy your cooking. And let's have some Indian chai with it too, because it's a nice day. Thank you for supporting the Creative Commons movement. Have fun. That's what we call a bathroom with a view. A very interesting view. You can wash your hands and look at the old church. Wash hands, look at the church.